Okay, we are officially recording. So before, and we have someone who's coming. Before we begin, I have a slideshow to present. Actually, I'll start presenting it. I haven't done one of these in a really long time, so excuse my slow savvy here with presenting. It's going to get really crazy for a second. Okay, I'm presenting. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Oh, my Lanta. Okay. So before we dig into the data, I just wanted to talk a little bit about what a continuous improvement plan is. So historically, this is something that's been done at the district level. There's been district goals. Maybe we should wait one more minute. Historically, this has been done at the district level with district goals, and last year it moved to this school level. And so we are going to tonight talk about basically three different things. Our goals, we have three different goals in three areas, what our data is showing, and what we're going to do to respond to our data and as part of our continuous improvement plan. We're always grounded in one goal. We want to make sure that every student is supported, engaged, and successful. So we'll start with literacy growth. So our literacy goal is to increase reading proficiency across all grade levels with a strong focus on early literacy and accelerating growth for students who need it the most. So this is our data from winter of 25 to winter of 26. We have historically used STAR data on our continuous improvement plan. We do the STAR 3 times a year, so we find that to be the best representation of our students. So from winter of 2025 to winter of 2026, we're seeing strong growth. There was a 6% in kindergarten, a 2% gain in first grade. Our largest gain was in second grade with a 13% and a large gain also in third grade. So this growth is happening during our first year of implementing ARC, which is our new reading program. We've found that the consistency with instruction is beginning to show up, right? Especially in K2, where those foundational skills are critical. We're also seeing strong momentum in second grade. So supporting those early years is really beginning to close gaps. We also know that reading demands increase significantly in upper grades, and there's still work to do. So the instructional systems that we've put into place are working. We have a really strong foundation. And we've already started this work. So we started using the American Reading Company this year and strengthening our core reading instruction across classrooms, and also using the consistent instructional materials so kids have a more aligned instruction from grade to grade. This year, we also implemented professional learning communities. PLCs give teachers time to look at student data, identify needs, and plan instruction together. So this has already helped us become more responsive. Looking ahead into next year, we're building on that foundation. We're going to continue to try and strengthen, right, our Tier 1 instruction, which is our everyday classroom instruction to all kids. And we're implementing, expanding our targeted support with ARC. So ARC has intervention toolkits that we can use to target students who are not quite meeting expectations, those were not implemented in year one of ARC. They were just kind of a trial by choice. So those will be implemented across classrooms next year. And we're also adding building-based instructional coaches. The coaches are going to work directly with teachers in classrooms, supporting instructions, modeling strategies, and helping to strengthen consistency across grades. I was supposed to click to this slide, but our math growth, our math data. So our goal in math will be to strengthen foundational skills in building deeper mathematical understanding across all grade levels. The data that we're looking at, so I'm comparing data again from STAR from last winter to this winter. So kindergarten grew. Last winter, we had 23% of our kindergartners proficient. This winter, it's 57%. First grade increased from 60% to 70%. Second grade saw an increase of 46% to 58%. And third grade saw a smaller increase of 52% to 55%. So we are seeing growth across all grade levels. The strongest growth we saw was in kindergarten and first grade. I just want to note, so this year is our first full implementation of illustrative math across all grade levels. So what this shows me is that in kindergarten and first grade, those kiddos did not have illustrative mathematics last year. And so these this shift for our students is really showing the impact of that shift. We know that building an early foundation is critical. And we know that math continues to be one of our biggest areas of growth. So what we're doing, so this year, again, we implemented illustrative. It's actually across all K4 classrooms, which strengthens consistency. We're also doing PLCs in math. And looking ahead to next year, we're going to continue to implement illustrative math with a strong focus on tier 1 and tier 2 instruction, so that core instruction in the classroom, as well as identifying those students who might need some more support. We are also adding instructional coaching next year in math to work directly with teachers to help strengthen math instruction and consistency. And we are adding, increasing our intervention services for next year, again, to target those students who might need a little bit more. We're going to continue professional learning with illustrative math and also with All Learners Network, and continue to use data-driven cycles. So using STAR math and our formative math that we look at through the PLC process. Our last goal is work that focuses on the whole child. So we want all students to feel safe, supported, and ready to learn. We know as a school that behavior is a form of communication and that students need to feel regulated and connected before they can fully engage. When students feel supported, they're able to learn and their classmates are also able to learn. So this work directly impacts success in reading and math. So what we're doing this year, we've focused on strengthening student belonging and relationships by developing some consistent SEL practices across the building. We're also strengthening our multi-tiered systems of supports so we can identify students who might need some more direct instruction around social and emotional skills, so we can identify those students earlier. Looking ahead to next year, we're being really intentional in this work. We're adding a full-time guidance counselor who can provide some more consistent support for student social emotional needs, for relationship building and early intervention. We're also adding a behavior support paraeducator who's going to work directly in classrooms throughout the building. They'll be able to support regulation strategies. They're going to be able to model supports for students and teachers and help ensure consistency for students across settings. These additions are a direct response to what we're seeing that students really need and to help us support students earlier so we're more effective so they and their peers can stay engaged in their learning. So when we look at everything together, we can see a clear progression. We've built some strong systems, put some strong supports into place, and next year by adding more targeted tools, by adding more intervention time, instructional coaches, the guidance counselor shift in other staff, we're going to be able to better meet student needs. We really look at every decision that we make, looking at the data and what students need. I am happy to take questions or comments. I might not know the answer, and if I don't know the answer, I can get you the answer. Like I said, I'm going to send this out on Friday in our memo, so if I don't have the answer, I will make sure I get it to you. The CIP, when it's finalized, will be on the school website and on the district website. So this is kind of the first step in that process, getting some feedback around the goals. Every school has to have a literacy goal and a social and emotional goal. We're also including a math goal because we felt like our biggest area for growth. So I will take your feedback, look at it with our incoming director of curriculum, look at it with the AOE, as now that's part of our CSI designation before it's finalized. I'm not sure how long after all that, we send it to the AOE and they work their magic and approve it, and then it will be finalized. I'm not sure how long that takes, so how long it will take to be posted on the website.
Michelle, could you pop the just the goals back up, just so I can see those?
I don't think I wrote the goals out. I just talked about the goals. Would you like me to repeat the goals?
Sure, that'd be helpful. Thank you.
I think it's easier if I just go into the CIP. Hold on. Okay. So our social emotional goal, which is the last one, is helping students feel safe, supported, and connected and ready to learn at school. And math and literacy is just strengthening our Tier 1 instruction in those foundational skills.
Michelle, do you know how you're going to sort of measure those goals? And one of my concerns, although I must say what you've explained so far is actually helping address it, is that I've heard from my students, meaning my children, that one of their things that they sometimes wish was different about Brewster Pierce is that sometimes they really feel like there's a lot of focus on the social emotional learning, and that they come home and are sometimes like, well, I wish I had more time on academics, but we were doing this social emotional thing, or I had to wait for another student to become regulated so they could learn. And I completely understand your point that when all the students are regulated, when even one student that's dysregulated becomes regulated, everybody else learns better. Is that part of the goal of having more social emotional learning and a full-time guidance counselor, that academics can actually be focused on a little bit better?
Yeah, one of the things we found this year is it was really hard to be proactive with the lack of staff in the building. So we had Dennis a couple of days a week. We have a BCBA who is a district. It's changed from what we had previously. It's now a district model, so they're not also in the building. every day, and we're seeing more kids who are dysregulated. So trying to be proactive and teach those strategies is really tricky when we don't have the staff in the building. So having the additional, not only guidance counselor, but having that behavior support person who can help model the behaviors, be in and work one-on-one with those students, pull them aside so the rest of the class can keep learning, is some of the ways that we're hoping to be more proactive so more learning can happen. And I think you had a first part of the question that like went in and out. Was there a different part?
No, I think I might have been explaining why I was asking the question a little bit, but you answered it, so I don't nothing
Okay,
further from me, I think.
perfect.
I think it was how to measure the goals.
Oh, yes, how to measure the goals. So we use STAR data is our main way when we report. So the CIP has to, at least this year, we had to report like our winter data that we compared to last year's data. So we've been using the STAR informative assessments. The SEL goals will be monitored. We have a safe and healthy survey that we give. We give it 3 times a year, and it asks, do you feel cared about? Do you feel safe at school? There's 4 questions on it. And also by tracking office discipline referrals. So the number of times, anytime a student is asked, like if support is called for a student, we fill out what's called an office discipline referral, and that comes to me, and we track that data so we can see if there's patterns or if if the behavior is happening at a certain time or with a certain teacher, and we can track if that's decreasing. Hey, Bode.
And then my other question was, I know you can't speak to specific staffing, and I may have it wrong, but my understanding is that some of our interventionists are having their contracts not renewed, but we are one of the goals, or not one of the goals, one of the ways we're meeting our goals is increasing math intervention. And I wondered if you knew how we're going to accomplish that. Is there a restructuring in the staffing? Or because I think one of my concerns was a little bit, oh gosh, okay, there's, 3 potentially academic instructor people who have provided academic instruction to my kids in the past, who it sounds like are no longer going to be there, and we've got a guidance counselor full time, which is amazing and I definitely want, but will that extra academic instruction still be there? How, yeah, I'm going on, but how are we accomplishing that with less people? Or perhaps we aren't.
So there isn't actually less people. There's actually more people.
Okay, great.
It's just been restructured. So we had a full-time interventionist and then a part-time interventionist this year, and in past years is my understanding. So next year we're going to have a full-time math specialist and a full-time reading specialist. So part of their job will be that direct coaching in classrooms, modeling for teachers, working with teachers to solve specific student issues, and then they will also, part of their day will be providing direct intervention services for students. So this year we had, our coaching was done at the district level. And this year and next year, the coaching will be right in the school. So we will have somebody every single day in the school able to provide that support.
Okay, and is that part of what the difference between a specialist and an interventionalist is?
Yeah. Yep. So they'll be doing the intervention and the coaching piece.
Okay. So instructing the kids, and then that means also instructing the instructors.
And also working with the teachers.
Thanks, kids.
I am so sorry. Bo is pushing buttons on the laptop, and I was
Bodhi,
not
you
meaning
could at least give me thumbs up.
sounds good.
And I have a question. Let me get my are the interventionists and the interventionists and then the coaches going to be separate roles, or how are they going to, what qualifications are the coaches going to have that are going to be helping in the classroom? That's my only
So it's
question.
one role. So there'll be a math specialist and a reading specialist, and that role will be split between intervention and coaching. There
Okay.
is an endorsement through the state of Vermont that basically they have to be subject matter experts, so literacy or a math expert, and then they also have to take some leadership courses that helps them to support teachers.
Okay. And do you know who's going to be in the roles for interventionalists next year, or are you going to let us know next year?
So we did make offers. All of the contracts haven't come back yet. Contracts are due back, I think, with extensions like mid-May. So once those are all finalized, then I can share.
Okay, that sounds good. That answers my question.
Yeah, me too. Thank you for being here from the ballpark. This is really helpful. I appreciate it.
I'm sorry I had to be from the ballpark, but right, we do life.
You can't tell.
Yeah, this background feature is fantastic. I am going to, and we recorded this, so I'll be able to send out the recording along with the slides. And if anybody thinks of any questions or if other people have questions, you can feel free to reach out at any point.
Hey, Michelle, I wanted to ask a real quick question.
Yeah, of course.
Hold on, Benjamin. One of the things that was mentioned in the previous CSI Meet Parent meeting was about trying to engage families, because there was lots of talk of like, I don't know how my kids are learning math, so there's no way I can do much support here at home. And the same with like literacy, and even the socio-emotional stuff does not happen in a vacuum. So I so appreciate the school leaning in to offer more support and learning in those ways. But I'm curious if there's any part of this plan that's about equipping families in some of these areas.
There's nothing written in the CIP about that. We are working on a math and literacy night for late May that we are hoping to host and invite families to, but we haven't put anything in the plan for that. Hey, Quinn. Oh, and Finn. And Greta. Does anyone else have questions or feedback? And if you think of something later, like I said, you feel free to reach out. Find me in the parking lot or send an email.
Hey, Michelle, you had said that, just real quick, you had said that the goals weren't in the slide deck that you had, but you had stated them. Could you, when you send everything out, put them somewhere in the email or in the slide deck somewhere?
Yes, I can.
Cool. Thank you.
Absolutely. Of course. I'm doing my really good teacher wait. Make sure no one else has questions or comments. Okay, well, thank you all for joining me and sitting through that and the hiccups we had with the technology. I appreciate you all coming.
Great. Thank you, Michelle. Appreciate
See you
it.
guys tomorrow.
All right. Sounds good.